I've seen a picture, I think I have it somewhere, of me after, I think it was an Anaheim race, and I won, and I do the victory lap, and I stopped on a triple, and I remember this night, and I stopped and took my helmet off, and the crowd's cheering. You've got a stadium packed, Angel Stadium, the heart of California, and it's packed, and you have just worked for months to accomplish something. And I remember pulling my helmet off, and people just, I mean, they're standing, their arms are up, they're cheering. It's just something that you can't even explain. It's gives you goosebumps. I was able to win a 250 West Coast title in 2010, winning Motocross of Nations team in 2009, King of Bercy in 2012, 9 supercross wins and 3 motocross wins on a 250. In total, including wins, I was able to stand on the podium 31 times on the 250 and 450. As a little kid on Saturday, race day, everything looks amazing. Bikes are brand new gear, shiny semi, bright lights, big crowd, tons of people. What you're about to watch is more about the Monday through Friday, the work and sacrifice it takes to race at a high level. The injuries an athlete goes through, it's not always pretty. You watch these dudes get beat up, and you have surgeries, and you look at my arms are mangled. I mean, 3/4 of my arms are scars. And it just seems like, why would you do this? But there's something to being so dedicated to something and having the self-control to be so dedicated and disciplined to keep pushing. There's something about it that's so rewarding.
I have to give him a general warning, like, it's way faster. You just loop out on it. Michael looped out.
Glendale, Arizona, round 4, supercross, 2018. First race back for me. Yeah, eager to get going and see. Just I feel like I'm kind of shooting in the dark right now, just not real sure what to think. So wrote a little bit of press yesterday, felt good. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. And, first race with the new team, and we got a good vibe going on, and everything's good so far. So we'll see. For me, the biggest thing this round is just coming back from a severe injury and limited time. I think what's important for me is to just really kind of not get wrapped up in numbers and people, and just try and focus on myself and do what I can do. And if that puts me 15th, then that's that. If it put me 8th, well, I don't really want to get hung up on that. So just kind of trying to go into it with an open mind, and wherever we end the night, we'll try and progress from there. I thought that I was going to end up there for 17, and I was so motivated, and I felt so good. I was just loving it. I loved the bike. I felt good. I was hauling ass, and it's business, but I ended up not getting the deal, and that I was, at that point, I wasn't going to race again. I was just devastated because I'd put in so much work, developed this bike that was incredible, and just everything was going so great, and then after I'd spent months and a lot of riding and testing and came up with this great bike, and everything was just jiving really well, there wasn't a spot on the team. And so they were still providing me with a bike to go ride, and I would go ride and do all that, you know, and in the meantime I was still searching around trying to find a home for 2017. It just never came together. So eventually it got to the point where I was like, all right, well, you know, maybe this is it. This is where it stops. This is where I'd retire from professional racing. And so I basically let it go as that. I mean, I wasn't stoked about it. I wanted to go race. I'd been riding a lot and everything was really good. So I wasn't happy about it. I didn't want to retire. But at that time, it was just like, I didn't really have another option. I remember during that same point, like, we had a brand new, the Suzuki track got rebuilt, like brand new, and all of this stuff was already going on. And like, all right, we got a new track. So I'm riding a little bit during the day, and everyone's got their stopwatches out. I'm like, all right. So I went down there, threw the fastest lap down on the track, and then I got undressed and left. Cause I was just like, I was just pissed, man. I was just mad.
Some of the things I watched, I know it was last week, I think it was the week before, where you had somebody who would text from home, or was tweeting or Instagramming from home, and they had their motorcycles on their stands inside their living room watching the race live. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was actually anything. We love like any type of, you know, cool way you can like show how you're watching, or, you know, we had a guy that was like, yeah, I'm gonna put my dirt bike on top of the roof, and we're going, well, that's a little extreme. Like, it'd be great for the picture, but like if something else were to happen,
yeah, we can't get going. It's dangerous.
Do these at your own risk. Like, disclaimer.
better. I mean, as long as I go in the right direction, that's all that matters. I mean,
Everything good with the bike?
I need more shock. Like, it's too soft. I'll text Sawyer and see. I mean, I'm sure we can make it better today. But I think ultimately I'm gonna need more valving. It just makes me a little bit timid. Like, come out of the first turn and like really got to seat bounce that, and I just
all the way through.
boom. And then like I'm lined up, I could go 3 again, but I'm just nervous because I just feel like I'm just bottoming so hard.
Okay.
The forks feel good. I mean, the shock's good. I just think it's a little soft.
Okay, let's get Hoyer on it and see where we gotta go.
I think they could tell I was like just not real happy. And so one of them had a conversation with me and they're like, I know it sucks, but you need to just hang in there, keep putting down motos, you know, doing your training, because you know someone's gonna get hurt and you're gonna get a fill-in job. And I was just like, I am not a fucking fill-in. Like, that was just my mind, and I was just like, I'm not a fill-in. Like I need to be on the team. That was where my headspace was. Like, yeah, I can look back now and be like, hey, you idiot, but I believe that. I didn't feel like I was a fill-in guy, and I didn't feel that I needed to bust my ass in hopes of someone getting hurt. Like, that's not where I was at. It did eventually happen, but you know, I don't really fault myself for that. Like, I think in order to be good, like you have to, at that point, I was confident again. I was, you know, through all the off-season testing, I was confident, and I just felt like, no, I'm not a fill-in guy. You know, that's not what I trained my ass off for, is to be a fill-in guy if someone gets hurt. And I've done it, and I don't mean disrespect by that. Like, we're seeing that more and more now, where there's a lot of really good, talented riders that should have jobs, but there's just, you know, there's not enough rides. So I don't mean disrespect by that, but at that time I was feeling pretty good about myself, and I wanted the job and I didn't get it. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's how I felt. Pissed me off. Really been riding much, but I talked to him and I kind of told him, and I did it because at first it was, we just needed to do like 4 races. I'm like, all right, and there was nobody else they could go get that probably would have done better than I did, so I was like, all right, I'll do 4 races, we'll go have some fun, like, it'll be cool. Well, then I ended up doing the whole 17, but my preparation wasn't great, so it just, you know, it wasn't that good. I think I rode the bike one day before I raced it, and at Anaheim 1 I actually did half decent. I think I got 10th, won the semi, and like, it was cool. I liked that team. They were a fun group of guys, but that whole off-season deal, and you know, you look back now and I'm like, well, yeah, you dumbass, you should have trained and done motos and whatever, but if I put myself back in that situation, like, I just wasn't really in a good spot. Like, I felt like I worked really hard and really was probably the best that I had been in years. And then it just like was like a pop balloon. It just deflated me. And so I would like to say I'd go back now and just be like, no man, just do your motos and keep your training up. But honestly, like, I look back now and like, I know the right answer, but I was just bummed. Like, I was just bummed. Surgery Pavilion, right?
Yeah, I would assume that's.
Surgery Pavilion. It said something about going in the side.
Well, it looks like there's something.
You will check in at the reception desk in a surgical pavilion.
Is that the front or is that the side?
Doesn't say that. It looks like.
Because they said something about, oh, go in the side.
Well, this, maybe they mean like this side of the. I'm crooked. Looks like a picture of one.
But she also lives in this neighborhood that's like constant. Because she has a garage. And we don't have that.
Need help? So how do you do it if you don't? So they come in, they check in, and
We have
with all
three
the
bays.
yeah.
There's curtains between them. And then there's a separate recovery area when you're right out of surgery. And then there's what we call phase 2 where you're in recliner and your family can be with you. But it's not your own room.
And then freak bike malfunction, and I'm on the dirt with a shattered elbow, shattered scapula, 10 broken ribs, punctured lung, broken wrist, and I was just like, damn, like that. And ultimately, at the time you try to lie to yourself, but ultimately that was the nail in the coffin. Like, I mean, surgery and laying in the hospital, and that was a big one. And that was the most pain I'd ever dealt with, wasn't getting any younger. And ultimately I was just like, man, it's one thing for me to crash on my own, and it's just like, oh man, I better be careful not to do that again. Bike failures suck, and it happens. I don't know about everybody, but it happens. And that's not the first time it's happened to me, but that was the first time that it got me. And I don't know, it just, you know, I tried to come back from that, but I'd ride and I'd kind of be, you know, kind of tag something, in case of triple or something. Ooh, that was a pretty hard hit on the rear wheel. Maybe I need to pull over and check the spokes or, you know, whatever. But it was just, that one was really tough, you know, to deal with. And then beyond that, my elbow was just a wreck. Like, it hurts. I mean, to this day, I mean, the thing is just jacked up, hurts every day. I need to get it worked on again. So ultimately, that was it. The last few years that I raced, I was wanting to have a deal done early enough in the season that I knew what it was, I could train, I could test, I could be ready and give it your best shot. And I had that, and I was stoked. And then it's gone. And you're just sitting there on a couch, can't do nothing. And yeah, it was terrible. It sucked. And I think maybe part of that, you're starting to see the writing on the wall, and you're like, fuck, like, this ride's over. And once I started to get healthier, I mean, you start to lie to yourself and like, I maybe not lie, but just talk yourself through it, and I can do this, and I mean, my elbow hurts, but I'll figure it out. And it's just, but in the back of your mind, you're like, dude, like, it's coming. It's hard because you love the sport, and my love and my passion didn't go away. It was just circumstantial and like making the right decision for myself and my family. But my love and my so after the hand at San Diego, I was like, I want to come back and race Salt Lake and Vegas, because Salt Lake is the closest race to home for me, and I always like going there. And then Vegas, because I've had a lot of good races there and just liked being there. So that was my goal. So I tried to do that, but I was struggling with my elbow, like, but I really wanted to do it. And after the first practice in Salt Lake, I'm like, it's done. It's over. And I'm fine with it. Well, I lined up for the heat race and I said, all right, I'm gonna do my best to get a good start and I'm gonna give it my best. So I did it, and about a lap in, I was like, nope, like this ain't gonna work. So I talked to the team and they were cool. And then they asked me to come to Vegas just to hang out. And so we went, and that was cool. And then the next day at the pool, I talked to Mike Genova, and he basically said, like, you know, you do whatever you want. Take some time off, think about it, da-da-da-da-da. If you want to give it a run next year, you got a spot. So I was like, well, I can get my elbow fixed, take some time off, and give it another run. But as time went on, and I think after I had that conversation, I was seriously like considering that. I was like, dang, that, you know, get my elbow fixed. You know, I was feeling good before I got hurt, but just after time, I was just, no. I came home, we visited home, and started talking to some guys and just hanging out, and I knew. It was just, can't do this anymore. By the time I was probably 10, 11, 10. It snows here in the winter, so I couldn't ride. So once I started to get a little bit better, my dad would take me down to California for a week or 2 weeks at a time, and then come home for a week or two at a time. So we'd kind of, during the winter, go back and forth. And I'll bet you we've talked about this before, how many times we've driven that road. And I have no idea. I mean, it's hundreds, I don't know, it's a lot. I vividly remember as a kid, like, having these conversations, like, what if you won a title? Like, what, just talking about racing and what factory team would you like to ride for? Like, just, being a kid and Pops, like, just talking about racing and the whole deal. And I remember having these conversations. So once we decided we were going to move here, I drove down here by myself to take care of some stuff. So I brought a little bit of stuff with me, and I brought my championship bike. I didn't even think much about it. And there's like a stretch through Nevada that you don't have cell service. And I wasn't even really thinking about it, but I'm driving through Nevada and my music's on, my phone don't work, I'm out of service. And I just happened to look in the rear view mirror for whatever reason, and the bike's in the back of the truck. And the scenery was just really nice. And I remember just sitting there and I was teared up, and I was just like, this is insane. I literally spent my entire teenage years, and even as younger than a teen, talking about, dreaming about the team I'd like to ride for. What title would you like to win the most, or whatever those conversations were. And at 17 I left to go chase that dream, and then 13, 14 years later I'm going the other way back home with a championship bike in the back of my truck. And I was just if you know me, which you do, this is not me at all. But I pulled over and took some pictures of the bike in the back of my truck in the middle of Nevada with no cell service. It was just very surreal. It was crazy. I legit choked up. I left when I was 17, 13, 14 years later, coming back with a championship bike. That was the dream. My God, you have made it. And it was cool. It was just crazy to think back at, and it's hard to even put into words, honestly. It was wild. It was sick.
Going
it's not always pretty. And there's the age-old saying, if it was easy, everyone would do it. But what makes it so rewarding and satisfying is the struggle. It's laying in a hospital, which no one wants to do. Going through the pain, the rehab, all these things. If you just get to hold one of those things up on a podium in front of 60,000 people, it makes it all seem worth it and makes it justifiable. It's a feeling. There are no words.